Hello viewers, welcome to Corporani. Today we need to start here the Flutter inside the maintenance service app UI designs we need to creating here. First of all, we need to already prepares here the directory structures. We need to create first of all the asset folders, then inside we need to create here the font folders and image folders we need to develop here. And then after library folder inside to create here the common folders. Then after we need to create here the common widget folders. Then after we need to create here the screen folders, and inside we need to create here the login flow. That's why I need to creating here the logins folders. And also no need this here the Windows web test and Mac Linux need to deleting here this directory. No needs like this clear to trust. First of all, we need to import here the needed fonts. We need to import Roboto bolts and regular fonts. Two fonts we need to importing here and to configures, and also today needed image we need to put here inside the XD files to need to exports and to put here. Now first of all, we need to see this here the today designs. Today we need to create here display screens as well as need to sign in screen. Sign in with email address. We need to like this UI need to develop two screens. First of all, need to all screens need to export as a image, and then after need to exportings and to puts inside the image folders, and then after need to export this logo. We need to select here and to command E to export this like this needed all image need to export at done. Now need to put as a projects. Now one by one need to developing this here the UI. Now first of all need to go inside the space and to configure this here the font configurations. First of all need to set here the set folders. Now need to uncomment these codes the asset lines, and also need to copy this here the relative path like here. So need to setting here, and also need to give this here the font folders copy relative, and paste this here, set here the font like this setting here for the fonts. Now need to uncomment this here the font sections this weight, and also need to clean here, and now need to set here the titles as a roboto, and we need to give this here the bold fonts relative path here, and also need to give this here the relative path as a regular font like this. We need to configure and to save this here. This is the purpose settings. Now we need to needs here the some common class we need to develop. First of all, the app related themes colors we need to given this here. Now need to go inside the common folders and to create here the new files and to give this here the name color underscore extensions. We need to set here the name like this creating here, and now need to create here the class as a t color like here, and to set here the static color, and to write down here the get primary colors we need to set here is equal to, we need to get this here the const color, and to give this here the hash colors we need to given this here copy and paste like this sets, and import this here the material dependency here. Same as now need to copy and to create here the secondary color, and we need to give this here the color code for the secondary colors like this. Again, we need to copy and to set this here the primary text, and secondary text colors we need to set here. Now need to copy this two times. Now need to set here the primary text and secondary text. Primary text same as need to copy here like this sets. Then after secondary text we need to set here like these colors. Then after need to title text colors need to set here. Need to set your title color like, and placeholder colors also need to set here. Placeholder, and you need to set here color as a or A4, 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 like the setting here. And last one's colors configurations, so need to setting here chat color XPG. Now need to copy here the as codes colors class. You need to copy and paste here, write down here like this text for the converting here the X colors. If you needs then to use, otherwise not use. Now this tutorial inside the no needs to needs here the futures, that's why I need to put here like here. And now need to creating here the some app related context extension need to create. Need to extension class need to develop here extensions dot dots, and we need to set here the extend app context on. We need to write down here the building context. Now first of all need to need this here the size, need to get here into returns here the get size is equal to, need to call this here the media query of size ops, need to set here context like this, need to returning here the size, need to pass here the this value like here. Same as now need to get this here the width doubles variables need to set here, and to return here the width is equal to, need to call this here the size dot width, need to return here. This is the shortcut in creating sears, and to use this here the many times, and every time no need to write inside the builder class inside. Every time need to patch and to declare here the different variables need to same this here the allocations need to, and to reduce this here the line of codes. That's why I need to write down here these common sum functions and to put this here. Same as, and also need to need this here the routes, because we need to use this here the full screens widgets, stateful widgets need to use, and to move this here the next screen, that two common functions need to develop here the future class as give this here the future, and we need to pass here the widgets and to give this here the name widget, and since we need to write down here, and now need to return here the navigator, and now need to pass this here the push, and we need to set here the context as a this, and routes creates here the material dependency. This is the extension methods of the page routes and navigators. Need to set here the context, and now need to pass here the widgets, and this is for the push. Same as now need to need this here the pop, and remove here no needs. These widgets need to clean here, and to write down here the pop, and to pass this here the these keywords. Other the things need to removing here like this, need to navigator pop shortcuts functions need to develop here. Two three three properties and two functions need to write down as a extend this here the app extend context class like this, we need to converting CS. Now we need to need this here the some configurations, unused codes need to remove. My home page need to no needs need to cleaning here, and need to one by one, so need to creating first of all, need to set here the name online, to write down here online maintenance service, like here. Now need to set here the theme colors, the color primary, and unused codes need to remove here. Remove here this value no needs, because need to create here the play screens after these settings. Now first of all need to debug, check banners need to set here the false, like here. Now need to set here the font family, give this here the name roboto, and need to material theme 3 need to set here the false. Like these configurations are the needs here, and to configures. Now need to first of all create here the play screens, select here the screen, and to create here the new files, and to give this here the name play screen, place underscore screen dot dots, and now create here the stateful widgets. Play screens need to set here the name, and imports here the material dependency. Then after need to create here the scaffold, and to set here the body, and we need to configures here the image assets, and now need to pass this here the place screen image copy path. We need to paste here, and now need to write down here the width is equal to context dot width extensions property we need to use, and also need to set here the height context dot heights, and we need to set here the width, set here the cover property, like this. Need to calling here, this is the optionals. If you sometime maybe image smalls, then to need this here these lines. Now need to comments here not needs, that's why need to not use. And now also need to configure this here the play screen, and set here the const value. Now we need to developing here the sign up screen. We need to develop before. We need to two common controllers. We need to develop here the round buttons and round text fields. We need to develop here, and then after we need to move inside the sign in screens. We need to develop here. First of all, now need this here the always common controls, because need to creating here the one time and multiple times we need to use, and to commonly use, that's why I need to creating here the UI common controls. Now need to give this here the name round button dot dots. Now need to first of all the develop here the stateless widgets, and to give this here the name as a round button, like here. And we need to write down here the some enum, need to write down here for the round button tab. Here's need to write down here the primary, then after we need to set this here the secondary, and also need to write down here the line, like this we need to write here. And first of all we need to import this here the material dependency, and we need to creating here the some property we need to needs for the round buttons. First of all need to need this here the title property string, set here the title. Then after we need to need this here the round button types. We need to needs here, give this here the type. Then after final, and we need to need this here the void callback events for the on tab event, on press event. Then after need to sometimes need to need this here the change heights, then to develop this here the double dots height variables need to set. Also need to need this here the font size, sometimes need to change different fonts, different buttons at the different fonts. Then to write down here the double dot font size, Then after need to font weight, sometime need to bolds and sometime need to regular font use. That's why need to given this here the font weight. Set here the font weight, and then after need to sometime need to fix width and difference maximum width need to give this here the width. Then after need to set here the button radius. Sometime need to squares, sometime rounds, and sometimes circulars. That's why I need to give this here the common property as a radius, and need to import this all property here, and need to remove here the required no needs, only titles are required and on press events are required. Others no needs need to cleaning here. Now need to set here the some property value. Need to write down here the round tabs dots. Need to set here the primary by defaults. Give this here the heights defaults need to set here the 60. Font size need to defaults give to this here the 17s. Font weight we need to set this here the regulars, normals, and need to this widget to not widgets need to change here the width. Need to width give this here the double dot max speed. Set here the radius need to set here the by defaults round. That's when to set here the 13s and on press events. Like this you need to setting here the properties, creating here the for common widgets for the round buttons, and now need to develop this here the UI. Need to write down here the inquel, and to write down here the on tab events and to set here the on press. Then after need to write down here the border radius. We need to set this here the border radius, circulars, and to set here the radius property. And then after need to write down here the childs and to developing this here the UI. Need to set here the containers. First of all need to set here the margins, no needs. Set here the padding dot const edges inset symmetric, horizontals need to given this here the 20. Then after need to set here the width as a width property, and alignments need to set here the alignments as a center, and need to create here the decorations of the UI. Box decorations, set here the colors. Now we need to first of all the check here the types equal to round types dot primary. Then to set this here the t color primary colors as a background colors, we need to setting here if type is equal to rounded dot secondary. Then to set this here the t color dot secondary colors, we need to setting here, and also if not any color sets, then to set here the color as a backgrounds white colors, we need to setting here. Then after so need to set here the borders, because need to also one type, so need to set here the lines. That's why I need to configure this here the lines. So need to check here the types equal to round button types dot line. Then to write down here the border. Also need to given this here the colors as a t colors dot secondary colors for the set here the secondary colors. Set here color t color dot secondary. Then after need to set this here the width. Like this configures if not set, if not line, then to set here the null value. Like these configurations are the needs, and now need to configure this here the border radius. Need to set here border radius circulars radius need to set like this property are the configures. Also now need to configure this here the height of this controls need to setting here height. Then after need to create here the childs and to developing this here the text controls. Now need to first of all the set here the button titles. Then after need to some text alignments need to set here as a center, so need to setting here text align dot center. Now need to set this here the text styles set here, and now need to set here the colors. Now first of all need to check this here the type equal to round button type dot line. Then to set this here the colors as a t colors dot primary text. If not, then to color set here the white. Like these configurations are the needs here and to configures. Then after need to set here the some font configurations, font property and font weight. Set here the font weight variables. Like this, you need to creating here the round common buttons. You need to developing done. Same as now need to develop this here the round text fields. Need to develop here first of all. Now creates here the new files and to give this here the name as a round text field dot dots. Set here the state list widgets and to give this here the name as a round text field. Add the sets here and capitals need to set. First of all, need to import here the material dependency. Now some needed property need to configure here. First of all, need to set this here the final dot int text need to setting here. Then after finals dot text editing controllers is equal to need to write down here the optionals controllers. Then after need to write down here the final dot text input keyboard types need to setting here input types optional keyboard type. Then after need to set here the final order double dot radius. Then after need this here the is password. Then to set this here the bool of secure object secure. Then after need to configure this here the right need to set here the widgets optionals and to write down here the right and like these configurations are the needs and now need to import this property and some value need to pass here. Here in text is a required and also need to set here by default radius need to set here the 25 13 otherwise 25 is good. Remove here the obscures need to by default need to set here the false. This is the property you need to developing here. Now need to creating first of all the UI. Use this here the containers and to set here the height. Need to set here height 60. Then after need to set here the margins. Most edges inset symmetric. Also need to set here one property double bool is padding. Need to set here is dot padding by default. Need to set here the false. Now need to set here horizontals is padding. Remove here const value. Set here the 20 and 0. Keep padding them to set here setting here the padding configurations like this. Now need to creating here the decorations box decorations. Now need to set this here the color three colors white. Then after need to set this here the borders. Need to setting here the border wall. Give this here the color three color placeholders with opacity you need to set here 0.5 and width you need to given this here 0.5. Now need to create here the border radius. Set here the border radius circulars. We need to setting here the radius and comma and set here the childs. Now need to set here the text fields. Set here the controller and need to set here the controllers. Keyboard type. Set here the keyboard type. Now text aligns. Set here the center as a for y. Obscures text. We need to write down here the obscure property. Then after need to setting here the styles. Text styles. Need to set here the colors as the primary text colors. T color primary text colors. Then after need to set this here the font size. You need to set here the 17. Now need to creating here the decorations of this UI. Input decorations and now need to first of all need to content paddings need to configure const dot edges insert symmetric horizontals need to set here the 20 as well as need to verticals need to set here 20 because need to set here the height 16. That's why need to setting here. Enable borders need to set here the input border null and focused borders also need to set here the input border none like here configures and also need to set this here the hint text and to set here the hint text and after need to configure this here the suffix icons need to give this here the right icons. Then after need to write down here the hint styles. Now need to first of all the copy paste here need to set this here the placeholder colors 17s. Now need to save this here. Now this is the round text fields are the creating here the dones and now need to create here the login folder inside new files creating here the sign up screen dot dots like this need to creating here. Create first of all the stateful widgets to give this here the name sign up sign in screen and need to import this here the material dependency like this settings and now need to set here the scaffold and to save this here. First of all need to play screens after the sometimes 3 seconds after the opening this here the automatically this sign in screens. Maybe here the typo we need to fix this here in a this is sign in screen. Save it. Now play screens inside we need to write here the logic how to load this here the screens after the few minutes. First of all need to write down here the init states and to write here the load view, and we need to call here since methods, and we need to write down here the wait futures dot delay, and to set this here the const durations need to set here the second as a 3, and then after need to another functions call for the go start functions need to write down here go start, and we need to use this here the navigators dot push remove until need to call here context as a context pass. Now need to set here the material page routes, and now need to setting here the context, and use this here the load here post sign in screen, and predictions inside you need to set here routes always set here the true, like this, and we need to call these functions after the go to start like this, calling here and to showing here. Now need to save and to run these apps inside the simulators. Now launching this here the apps flutters, and to show this here the first of all the play screens. Need to check this here, and first of all need to fix this here the issue. Spots. Set here slash again run. Now build successfully, and need to show this here the play screens and automatically move after the 3 seconds this UI to another screen as a sign up screens. Maybe not also inside the initialize. Need to call this here the load view and to start hot reloads. Now need to automatically sign up screen inside the move this UI. Now need to developing here the UI same as our XD designs. Now need to first of all the open this here the UI like this UI need to developing here. Now we need this here the two text editing controllers, and to give this here the name txt email text editing controllers initialize, and another the for password editing controllers txt password controllers, like this declaring here and to set this here. Now first of all need to set this here the UI as a background, so need to configure. Now need to develop here the body, need to create here the stacks, and need to first of all the set here the alignments as a center, Now need to give this here the image assets and to set here the backgrounds. Now need to find out here the sets image, copy this relative path and to put here. Now need to set here the width as a context dot width extension methods, and also need to give this here the height context dots need to given this here the height, and fit need to set here box fit scale fit with like this need to configure now need to show, and also need to pick this here this things need to set here the transforms widgets transform scales, and scale property you need to set here 1.1, and now displaying goods similar to designs. Now we need to creating here first of all the size box inside the stack. Give this here the width as a context dot width, and height same as give this here the context dot height. Now need to create here the childs and to create here the single child scroll view. Create here the childs and to use this here the column, and need to give this here the cross axis alignments. Need to set here the center. Then after you need to first of all the give this here the some space of the tops sized box to use this here, and to give this here the peak heights as a 18 appropriate our UI. Now need to put this here the app logo here, as need this here the width dot context dot width, and need to use this here the size 0.65, and we need to set here the fit as a box fit width, and now need to give this here the logo copy relative path this here like this here the showing similar to our designs. Need to setting here the logo, and now we need to give this here the some space, and then after need to creating here the containers for the set here height 20 like years set here. So now need to develop here the container UI. Set here containers first of all need to need this here the margins. We need to configure const edges insert symmetric. Verticals need to set here the 25, and horizontals also need to set here the 25 appropriate our UI. And also need to set here the width, as I need to give this here the double dots max width, and after need to setting here the padding const edges insert symmetric. Horizontals we need to set here the 45, and verticals we need to setting here the 25, and we need to creating here the decorations of the UI. Create give this here the colors white, then after need to set this here the border radius circular 25, and after need to configure this here the box shadow const array bracket inside. You need to write down here the box shadow. Need to give this here the color black 12, and also need to configure this here the blur radius. Need to setting here the 3, and need to set this here the offset. Set here the x dx 0, and dy we need to set this here the 2 like this. We need to creating here the box shadow. We need to use here Save here and look like this here the UI are the showing. Now not writes inside the childs, but we need to first of all the creates here the buttons of the sign up round buttons we need to develop here round button and to set this here the sign up and on press event, and we need to set here the types as a rounded text. Now look like this showing here, and we need to give this here the width font edges inset not edges context dot width, and we need to multiply by 0.65 like this. We need to showing here the sign up buttons. Now first of all we need to set this here the titles inside the containers. Now need to go and to create here the childs, add down here the columns, and to set here the cross axis alignment, set here the center, and now need to create here the childs. Now one by one we need to developing here. First of all we need to set here the text, need to setting here the sign in titles, and need to set this here the styles, text styles, need to set here the color t color dot title colors we need to setting here, and also need to give this here the font size, need to set here the 32 as per our HD designs, and font weight we need to set here the bold, set here bold like here, save here, and look like this here the similar to show this here the our designs. And then after we need to give this here the some space sized box heights 25, and we need to sort this set this here the cost value. Now we need to develop this here the round text fields. We need to use this here. Now we need to working quick mail, and we need to set here the keyboard types, text input, email address, and set here the controllers as a txt email. And look like this here the showing here the emails. Same as now need to create for the password field, copy and paste, remove here the tabs, and we need to set here the of secures, we need to set here the true, and txt password controllers we need to set, and to develop this here the right buttons, icon button on press event, show hide, and set here the image assets, and we need to pass this here the show passwords the icons, we need to set here copy relative path and to paste this here. Now also need to set this here the width, need to set here the 13 is good like here configures, and showing like this here the change here the password. Now need to give this here the some height space 15, so need to set here's the height space, and then after need to write down here the sign in buttons, need to call here's rounded buttons, set here the titles as a sign in and on press event like here the calls, and we need to set this here the font weight, set here the bold, then after is padding not property, here some padding, set here symmetric, Verticals need to set here the 15 and look like this here the showing here the sign up buttons. Then after need to creating here the row inside create here the two buttons, the forget password and OTP logins. Now need to write down here the another button, create here the row first of all childs, and to give this here the main axis alignments need to set here the center like here's. Now need to developing here the text button on press event and need to develop here the child's text. Need to set here the forget forgot password and slash. Now need to set here the styles. Now need to copy any here styles and to paste this here. Now need to change here the colors. We need to setting here the primary text. Also need to change this here the font 15 and font weight no needs. Need to clean here like show here the forget passwords. Same as now need to developing here the OTP logins and to change this here OTP login and look like this here the similar to our designs wise showing here. Same as now need to set here the titles after this row and need to copy here these titles first of all the eight years to paste this here. Other methods need to setting here or sign in with and now need to set here the styles as a placeholder. Then after so need to check this here the font size 15s and font weight no needs and need to set here some padding vertical symmetric verticals. We need to set here the 12 and look like this here the or sign in UI need to showing like this here. Now need to developing here the Facebook buttons, Google login buttons and Insta buttons need to UI need to developing here. First of all need this here the row and need to create here the childs and now need to create here the inkwell and need to create here the on tab event. Now need to create here the childs, give this here the image assets and now need to passing here the Facebook button copy relative path and now need to give this here the width as a 17. It's good. Now need to show here the buttons other place showing here not here, so I need to put here look like this here the show. Same as another buttons for the Google sign in and another buttons for the Instagram sign in and here set here the Google. Here give this here the icons, put this here and look like this show. Now need to once methods need to call this here the main axis alignment, set has a space around and remove this here slash and look like this here the show. If you like this video, please give the thumbs up. If you're new user, so please subscribe my channels and press the notification bell icon. You can get every new video notifications and awesome content. If you have any question, so please write down the comment sections. I will help you and sort out your issue. Everyone have a nice day. Goodbye and take care. And similar to show this here the designs and